여보세요. My name is Pam, and this is day one, part one of me making a spooky sandy snake. Yes, this is something that I was been putting off, but with everything going on, I figured like this will be a good time to start this. Right? So as of now, I don't have anything put together. I'm just gonna go over the materials that I have here. Got this fabric. This is way too much, but they had a yard minimum, so this is gonna be for around the mouth, and then of course foam. This is an inch thick, and then for the body I have they didn't have a lot of fabric choices at Joann's, so I went to Walmart and picked up a white and black felt, and then there's a bunch of hot glue. Alright, let's get started, I guess. Hello, Spaghetti-roonies. It's currently 1 a.m. Just been working on this for 3 hours, and what I have so far is I did some ideas for sketching and like what each of the heads should look like. This is just some random garbage, you don't need to focus on that. And then I made a pattern for the mouth plates, and I cut them out of plastic from this plastic bin lid. And so far I have the top, the head that's in foam. I used hot glue and carved the edges. But that's what I got. Good night. See you tomorrow. Okay, middle or end of day 2. I don't know if I'm going to keep going. But I have the foam bits done. I have the outer head and the inner head. The bigger head is 2 pieces since it has to be hollow on the inside. It doesn't have a mouth plate. The mouth plates are made out of plastic here, but this was made out of cardboard since it has to be U-shaped. One thing with cutting this foam up and making sure like the seams are good, this took 2 layers. This also took 2 layers of foam, and the bottom for both are both 1. But like, it makes a mess if you just like see me. I am covered in little tiny foam bits, and the floor is covered in tiny foam bits, and this table over here is covered in tiny foam bits. Oh yeah, with the foam that I've used thus far, it looks like I've used a little more than half. Yeah, this is what I have. I've been working on this for a while. I don't have my phone down here, so I don't know what time it is, but I'm guessing like 5-ish hours. Mainly spent on hot glue, ink, drying stuff, and then chucking all these little tiny bits. Hello, it is currently 10 and my phone has died, so I've decided to give up for today. This is what I have accomplished. But then I lined the inside of the mouth with blue. So I would use like a darker color or something, but like I feel like this will work because it's a fictional animal and it's just going to be something dark to line it with. And then my dad recommended to put these wood things here because in order for the mouth to open, I'm going to be doing like hinges, and the wood will be more sustaining for that than a piece of cardboard would. Anywho, that's that. And then the inner, I didn't use a pattern for this. I just spread it across. I used hot glue. There's like a line, line. Just keep going and folding it down and then cutting around the edges. I'm planning on covering this up with more of this to make for lips, so I'm not really bothering with how good this edge looks. I have a pattern for this side. I used masking tape like I showed you. It didn't really work out terribly well, especially with this top part. Getting like the creases to unfold didn't work, but this one's flat enough where there weren't needs to be like darts or anything, so I'll try using that. So that's what I have accomplished for today. Total, I guess I'd say like 12 hours of work today and 3 hours yesterday. So we're to the 15-hour mark with working on stuff. Day 3. I just outlined this. I know it's a little messy so you can't tell, but black, white, white, and then I'm getting some wooden discs tomorrow for their eyes. That should be good. I did put a wire here I just put some foam on top of it so that it would lie a little flatter because it was too curved and the bottom half of his head was almost as tall as the top half, which did not make sense at all. And then for the mini, I did the foam on the bottom, or the fur, and then I started working on the teeth, or just pieces of foam that I cut out and hot glued in. I did 2 coats of paint before deciding to do Mod Podge to try and seal the foam and continue painting. And then I have some foam that will probably go around each tooth to make it look more like gums. So that's how that's going, and hopefully there'll be more progress tomorrow. Rah. This is what I've done day 4. Yep. Probably around 8 hours, I think. Have the nice fluffy fleece on the big head, on the big boy, and we have the hinges. There are little pieces of wood here. I hope you can see this. Just wood and then hinges. So rah. The other piece now has gums, and the teeth have been painted probably like it's 2 coats of Mod Podge and then 1 coat of paint so far, like after the Mod Podge. So that's how that looks. The teeth don't really align anymore. You kind of have to push them down a little bit. Because one, they're hard. They're like really hard now. Like it does hurt when it bites down on you. And then also, I put hot glue in these gaps without really thinking about it. So now it doesn't sit quite as well, but I don't think it looks bad at all. Right now it's mainly trying to figure out how to, in the show, they have it so, it pushes out like this. That's the one thing I was worried about, is that these hinges kind of take a lot of force to open, but we'll figure it out at some point. This is day 5 and 6, possibly? I don't remember. I lost track. It's been a couple of days in between the last video and this one. I was waiting for these wooden things to come in. I have a different size upstairs, but the plan is use this, and the only thing that's really changed is this big lumpy body here. It's got some plushiness to it, just using some craft stuff, and then it's only halfway filled because I'm trying to figure out how the arm's gonna work. I think I'm gonna cut like a slit in here and then use fabric from old sweater so that I get the right length for arm, so that I have like a pocket for my arm to go, and then the rest of it could be stuffed. What I did was I made like a rectangle of this pattern, and then I cut out like a triangle shape to make it like more snake-esque. So that's why I have this. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but right now it's in the excess fabric box. These stripes, the diameter of the inside of the head is 11 to 10.5 inches. So these stripes are 33 by 5, so they're 5 inches wide, and they're 34. They're 34 inches long because I wanted to have some room to like eat up some of the fabric, because it's going in a sewing machine. I need some room to actually sew. I figured I'd do a midday update since I didn't do an update in the morning, and I feel like I've gotten a lot done. So I did touch-ups on him, painting all the stripes on the teeth, and the body is almost full. I have a sleeve in here now. It's not the most beautiful thing in the world, but it's a sleeve so that I can still have stuffing and have my hand come out the other side. Hello there. This is what I have for the big boy, and then I'm trying to figure out what patterning I'm going to do on the smaller ones. But yeah, that's what I got. So I just wanted to explain this as I was doing it. I'm currently making the lips for the smaller head, and what I did is I cut a triangle shape out of my foam. I'm hot gluing this here, and then I take a sewing pin and push the ends together and pull out the pin and just hold it until it dries. What I do after that is I take my fabric and cover it and then sew the seam. I sew it here, so on the part where it's going to be glued to the head. As you see here, the seam is glued on the inside. No one's going to see this part anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then the most important thing is to taper off the end, because I didn't do that for this guy, and he's got big old man lips. So I just wanted to show that as I'm doing it, so I don't have to explain it post work. So I'm attaching the head to the body. What I've done is that I've folded over the fabric just to have a clean seam and pinned all the way around and making sure it's straight. And then I'm going around with my hot glue gun, flipping it over and gluing it down. So here he is. He's basically done. There are a couple things I can't do yet. Like the main thing is the pink spots on this guy's face, because I can't go out to a store and get fabric. I have magnets so that when you close it and you lift it up, it doesn't open right away. You have to give it some oomph so that you can actually move around and do things. And then for the fin here, I did what's called a ladder stitch all across here, and then the sides, and then the other side. This is foam. I cut out the shape, I rounded out the sides, and then all I did was I took this fabric inside out and pinned where I wanted the line to go, and then just sewed it with a sewing machine, and then put it back on like a sock, and hot glue the ends so that this would all be flush when I went to sew it. Be careful of the environment that you're working in, because white cloth gets dirty, so that's a thing. Go for it, really, because like I watched like a whole bunch of tutorials and things to try and figure out like what's the best thing to do and how to make the foam form, and never really worked with foam before, so I feel like for a first foam project it isn't too bad. Hello. I don't know how far we are. It's been like a week or two since I came back to this. I was waiting for this felt to come, but now that I have it, we can stick it on this bad boy. Well, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the shapes that I want and then hot glue them on. What I've been doing is I've been fixing the position of the front, because I have magnets in here, and initially they weren't touching, so I took a wire so that it stays like in this position, so that when it closes they actually connect. And then I'll explain this more once I have it on, but I've been working on how to get the mouth to close with just one hand, like without using my free hand to get it closed, and then also keeping it open enough so that the inner head can actually kind of stick out and move about. But that is it so far. I'll get this guy sorted and done, and we'll see what to do next. Now I'm just gonna go around bit by bit and glue it down. I got y'all a pro tip. If you got an extra shirt and an iron, and you got some really bad edges on your hot glue, I know I have some especially like here, then take your shirt, what you do, take your shirt so you don't burn the fabric underneath, and then you place it down for 10 to 20 seconds. I'm doing it for 20. I hold it still for 10, and then I move it like this for 10. You pull it off, and it's nice and flat, so you don't have like these weird ass ends sticking up. You're still gonna get like residue because you can't get it off completely, but I had like a piece here that was really sticking up, and it's not, so that was very helpful. So here he is. I think he's pretty cool. Then you and look up and close. There you go. That's basically the whole process there. If you want to look in a little bit better, see the inside. I have this, let me take the smaller head out for a second so I can just go over what's in here. So I have this pole back here that holds up the top half, and then I have a handle on the bottom that helps hold the bottom half so I can control the lower jaw. And then this bad boy, took me a long time to get the felt, but I think the felt turned out really nice with the pink spots. And he just slips right back in here. And there you go. It's a little bit of maneuvering to get the jaw down enough so you can see the inner one, because you have to hold down your wrist and hold it up, and then you buck up and then close. There's magnets on the inside so that when the two halves come together, they close. And there you go. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this was a little less structured than like a tutorial, but I have a playlist in the description of some videos that I found helpful for this process, and I hope there are some steps in here as well that you can learn from, or just seeing how this guy was made was cool enough all in itself. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Toodles!